This is live from Broadcast Square, a public affairs presentation of Seward County Broadcasting and Talk Radio 1270. Your phone calls concerning today's show are appreciated. Now, live from Broadcast Square.
And good morning. Welcome to Live from Broadcast Square here at Talk Radio 1270 on this Friday morning. My name is Joe Denoyer, host of the show, and in the studios with us this morning from Liberals Memorial Library, we have Philip. Good morning, Phil.
Morning, Joe.
And I also want to introduce everybody to the new director of Liberals Memorial Library. It is Royce Kitts, right? Did I get
That's
that?
correct, Joe.
All right, Royce. So welcome to Liberal. Welcome to the radio. First time on the radio?
It is my first time, definitely. A little nervous.
You'll be fine. For our listeners, I know we've already talked about it, but just give a little brief biographical information about yourself and some library history, maybe.
Sure. Well, I was born in a little town called Dallas, Texas. Grew up in a town called Springfield, Missouri, and off and on for the past 20 years have been living in Manhattan, Kansas. Seems to be a spot that we come back to fairly often. And for the past 2 weeks, I've been living here in Louisville, Kansas. Started off being a librarian in 2001. Pretty easy decision. There was a job open 2 blocks from my house. I figured, I could never be late 2 blocks from your house, right? So got the job there. Within a couple of years, the director there saw something in me and sat me down and said, "Hey, Royce, I think you'd make a great librarian. I think you should go back to school, get a degree, master's in library science, and get out there. Make sure you stand up and spread the word about how awesome libraries are." Mm-hmm. So that was at the Manhattan Public Library. Once I got my degree, there's something about getting your degree, you feel like you have to move on. So got a job at the Tonganoxie Public Library. Was there for about 3 years. Enjoyed my time. Had an opportunity. One of my goals growing up was I'd always wanted to be a teacher, and had an opportunity to teach at Washburn University and also be a librarian. So while I was there, I taught first-year students. It's amazing. When I went to college, no one really gave me a roadmap for success, and I had my struggles like a lot of college students do. And what you do in the course that I taught was you just kind of help students understand what it means to be successful in the college environment. And I had a chance to work with a couple of really good librarians. One, I should say his name, Sean Bird, and the other was Keith Rocky. And it was like someone from your favorite football team saying, "Hey, would you like to join our team?" Mm-hmm. And so I gave that a shot for a while. But it's probably about 2.5 years in where I felt like, the thing that I love most is serving the community. And I was serving a very specific community, but I really like working with children, young adults, and I love serving older populations. I think that the library is a great place to connect with those people. And when the opportunity came up at the Liberal Memorial Library to be the director, I was like, this is a wonderful opportunity. I'm devoted to the state of Kansas. I love this state. And it was a chance for me to move from Washburn into a community smaller, but one that I think has a lot to offer people that move to the area. My wife and I, our first weekend here, we had to physically plan out what we were going to do because there were so many different places we wanted to eat at, so many different stores that we wanted to go into, and so many different opportunities to just look at stuff. I've been here for 2 weeks, and I've still yet to make it into the Air Museum. Mm-hmm. And I've had that first on my list, but then it's like things like doing laundry and cleaning the house. But I this weekend I hope to make it down there and get a chance to really, for me, that's one of the really bright spots in the community, and I can't wait to get down there.
All right. It's been a while since we've kind of talked about this with anybody, but you hear a librarian, you got this preconceived notion that I think maybe movies or TV show. What is actually the duties, responsibilities of a head librarian? What is your job? I mean, you're not going to sit there at the desk, check out books, and shush kids. That's not what you do.
Sure. And in fact, the way that the library has evolved, I remember my own experiences growing up in the library. My family struggled quite a bit with poverty growing up. We lived in 18 different houses, but we went to one library. So the library becomes a stabilizing force in a lot of people's life. what I do as the library director is not a lot of fun stuff. I stare at budgets all day. We get tax dollars from our citizens here in the city of Liberal. It's my duty to make sure that we figure out, ways to use that money effectively. It's also my responsibility to make sure that that money is accounted for at all times, and make sure it's spent wisely, and that we know what is happening at all times. I deal a lot with personnel. Not that there's any problems, but you got to make sure people are getting paid on time. You got to make sure that they have the benefits. So you're working with insurance companies. You're spending a lot of time with book vendors. You're not spending so much time with the things that Phil gets to do, which is, programming. I don't get to do things like read stories to children all the time. But what I do like to do is focus in on those kind of core duties in the morning. And then as your brain wears down after looking at spreadsheets all day and budget numbers and bank accounts, get out of the office. I like to think that you should actually never see the librarian sitting down in his chair. He should be either in the library meeting new people, talking about the library, or out in the community, such as we are today, just spreading the word about how the library is for everyone in town. It grows as we grow, and it grows when you come in. Whether you think the library has something to offer or not, you should make a physical effort to at least stop by at least once a week to see what's going on. One of the things that I find really amazing about our library is that there is so much going on. School started, so we've seen a little wind down. It's a little bit quieter now, and I think that's a good time for those people who maybe think the library is a little too noisy for them to hang out. It's a good time for you to come down and kind of rediscover the library. Be cognizant of the fact that during the summer, there's lots of kids in town, and there's lots of schools in town. When the schools aren't open, they're in the library. But when school's in session, great place to sit down, lots of magazines, lots of books, lots of DVDs, all those kinds of things that, are part of the educational, cultural, and just entertainment, values that the library has to offer the community. And it's funded by your tax dollars, and I think you should really make sure that you get the most out of them as you can.
Working at different communities at different libraries, when you got to Liberal's Memorial Library, were there any pleasant surprises like, wow, for a community this size, they've got this going on? Were there any wow factors like that that you noticed right away? I know you've only been here 2 weeks, but... Oh,
sure. I hate to make a plug for the parks here in town, but one of the things that I thought was amazing was how beautiful the building is. And I was very familiar with that book front, but I wasn't familiar with the landscaping and the flowers. So, it's typical southwestern Kansas day. I think the sun's coming up. It's hitting the side of the building, and there's flowers everywhere. It's just a very beautiful building. As I walked in, one of the things I thought was really interesting is, our employees are top notch, and I don't say that just because I want them to like me, which obviously I want them to like me, but I'm amazed how well they connect with the community. One of my things is, more than anything else, when people come into the library, they should get a smile. It might be the only smile that person gets all day, and life can be tough for people. And at least one person smiling at you every day is a wonderful thing. And we have librarians who are fluent in Spanish, in English, and to hear them go back and forth, we're really meeting the needs of a diverse community here. And for me, that was amazing. That we're able, that no matter who you are, when you come into the library, we're going to be able to talk to you, and we're going to be able to meet the needs that you have when you come into the library. So I've been eminently impressed, and with when I walked into the children's library, is one of the things I'd never seen was a library that I think was just so suited for children. We have these lower shelves. Most libraries still hold on to those adult-sized shelves, but everything seemed to be built for children in there. So it's just an amazing library. I think we got a really amazing building. We just recently are getting ready to finalize the annex part where we have some meeting spaces. And I just talked to a local gentleman who's offering veterans advice on working with the VA. and he's going to be able to come in once a month. So, already making kind of connections to fill those spaces so that, it kind of becomes a jumping off point for people who want to further enhance the services that our community provides to the citizens. So it's just a wonderful place, very nice.
All right, you are listening to Live from Broadcast Square. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. And good morning. Welcome back to Live from Broadcast Square here with Talk Radio 1270 as we visit with Royce, the new director of Liberals Memorial Library. Royce, goals, things you'd like to see, maybe not immediately, but over the course of, time. Where would you like to, the direction you'd like to see Liberals Memorial Library go?
Sure. Well, one of the things, I've only been here for 2 weeks, so I'm just getting a feel for the place, but my goal is always to make sure that the image of the library and that the services that the library provides meet the needs of the community. Mm-hmm. So I really haven't had time to check out to make sure where our place is in that. But my goal is to make sure that when I ask someone, have you been to the library lately, they say yes. And when I ask them what their favorite thing is, it just rolls right off their tongue. Okay. I just want to make sure that we become embedded in the community, and that when, the Chamber of Commerce, for instance, is putting something together, they call the library and say, hey, Royce, are you going to be able to come help us? Mm-hmm. When Seward County Community College calls up, I'm like, yep, I'll be right down there. When City Hall calls and says, hey, Royce, can you help us with this? My goal is, yes, we will. So I just want to make sure that we're really embedded in the community and that everyone in the community has a sense of pride for their public library. It's their public library. Mm-hmm. I'm just the one who's running it. But I just want to make sure that there's that love for the public library because I think it does have a lot to offer. If people haven't been in, I want to make sure that we figure out a way to get them in there. One of the things about a public library is that there's a couple of stops when people are come into town and they're checking out your community. They want to make sure that you have places to eat. Well, I think Liberal has a lot of great places to eat. My waistline proves it. And I think they want to find a good church to go to. I think we have a lot of those here in town. I think we serve a variety of denominations in that respect. And I think also that they're looking for things to enrich their own lives. And I think that's where the library comes in. You want to know that your community has a quality library, especially if you have kids. You want to know that when there's a local story time for you to take your kids to. You want to know that there's a place after school that your kids can hang out, maybe play some type of learning game in the children's library, maybe even sit down. And I know a lot of kids don't do this, but maybe even sit down and read a book once in a while. But also for adults, our work life is such that we spend a lot of time at work. And I think all of us are devoted to our jobs in the respect that when we get done with work, we're kind of tired. We want something to do to relax. For a lot of us, there's television, but I think for a lot of us, too, it's sitting down with a good history book. I'm a big history buff, especially Kansas. So when I get free time, I like to read about Kansas. So I think just being a resource to enrich everyone's life, that's the ultimate goal for me as a library director, for sure.
All right, invite the community to come out and meet Royce Kitts at Liberals Memorial Library, open 6 days a week. So
6 days a week, and my door is always open, and I'm always willing to step out of my office. Like I said, I hope I'm never in there, but my voice is loud enough. You can find me.
All right. We do have, Phil is here. He didn't go have a donut or coffee, anything like that. Let's talk a little bit about programming that you have for the community to enjoy, Phil.
Okay, well, coming up, we've got our usual, next Monday on 25th, we've got Recipe Swap. This month is baked goods, so if you have a recipe, come on down and, share it. In September, we've got a couple of things going on. We've got the return of Jerry Barlow. He's a Celtic guitarist, and he'll be at the library on Tuesday, September 9th at 6:30. And the programming is free to the community. So come on down then. And Jerry's been down here before, and he's been really well received. And, I'm sure he'll do another great job, and you can listen to some great Celtic music. Also, we're returning for the fall our Family Place Library Parent-Child Workshop. Now, it's a 5-week program, and basically what it is that we they're for children from birth to age 5, and their parents and caregivers are asked to attend as well, and we're going to feature local professionals to serve as resources, and we're going to emphasize the roles of parents as the first teachers of their children, facilitate early intervention, and teach strategies for healthy child development and early literacy. So, we've done this for the last, I think, 3 times, and it's been really well attended, and we'd like more people to show up again. And it's 5 weeks starting on September 18th, which is Thursdays, the 18th, the 25th, October 2nd, 9th, and 16th, and it starts at 6:30 p.m., and it's for 5 weeks. So we'd like them to come on down. Also, summer reading's over, but we still have plenty of T-shirts. So if you haven't picked up your T-shirts, children's or the teens, come on down and pick them up, and we're more than happy to give it to you.
Now, in your family place library, do they need to pre-register?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Go ahead and register ahead of time. Come down, talk to Cassandra at the library or someone over at the front desk, and we'll sign up and we'll get you in.
Right, as we move into fall from summer, going to continue with story time, lap sit, all the regular programming for the kids and anything for the young adults that'll be coming up that you're aware of.
Not yet. We've got some things cooking up and working as things go on. So in September we'll be here. You'll be hearing more stuff going on. So we'll definitely get stuff for the kids and teens and the young adults.
All right, so Recipe Swap is coming up next week?
25th, right.
On the 25th, so and it's baked goods, right?
Right, and so not next week, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks, okay,
2 weeks, right.
In 2 weeks, baked goods. And then, hey guys, take those recipes. We've got a baking contest coming up September 27th, so grab the great recipes and you can enter the baking contest, part of the Duck Festival. So a lot of good things going on at the Liberals Memorial Library website. If people need more information at their fingertips, can always go there as well.
Right, www.lmlibrary.org, or give us a call at 626-0180.
All right, anything else, Philip, that you want to mention about programming?
Nope, I think we're good.
All right, Royce, anything else you'd like to add before we close?
Nope, just other than make sure that you come on down. It's your library. Get the most out of it.
All right. Guys, I appreciate you coming in this morning. Enjoy the weekend, and there's a ton of stuff going on, so
Rodeo.
Get out and enjoy. So.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
You bet. So we'll be back with Radio Bay. Stay tuned.
Good job, Rod.
You've been listening to Live from Broadcast Square on Talk Radio 1270. Comments expressed by guests, listeners, and the host do not necessarily reflect the opinion of Seward County Broadcasting Company, Incorporated.